Phil Spencer was on IGN's podcast Unlocked, and he had a lot of interesting things to say about AVOWED, acquisitions, and player engagement. So Xbox has quickly become the premier place if you are looking for RPGs and specifically fantasy RPGs. We have Elder Scrolls 6 that's going to be coming out, and one of the games that a lot of people are very excited for is Obsidian's AVOWED. A lot of people are comparing AVOWED to Elder Scrolls, thinking that the game is going to be very similar. Well, Phil Spencer talked about this, and he is saying that AVOWED is going to be very different than Elder Scrolls. So Phil Spencer was asked specifically if he thought that AVOWED is going to be Xbox's version, so I guess just the core Xbox Game Studios version of Bethesda's Elder Scrolls, while people are waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out. And here is what he said: I think the games are very different, so maybe I struggle a little bit to say that's our version of this, knowing what Fergus Urquhart, Obsidian's CEO, and the team are going off to do. But when I think about our lineup and I think about the more core fantasy RPG setting, I think AVOWED is going to be an awesome entrance there. So yeah, I think AVOWED from just a core fantasy-based RPG standpoint, there's going to be some distinct differences from what Elder Scrolls has done traditionally. I think AVOWED is going to be fantastic when it comes out, and I want to give them the time and the resources to build the most amazing game they've ever built. Now, we have no idea when AVOWED is going to come out. We saw the first initial trailer here, pretty much just showing off the title screen and that it is going to be a fantasy RPG, but that's all we know about it. And they have also given a brief update that they are still hard at work on the game, but I'm guessing AVOWED isn't going to come out until like 2023, 2024, and maybe we'll see something more about it at the Game Awards or even maybe at next year's E3. But it is definitely a game that I think is very high up on the hype and anticipation for a lot of Xbox fans. I am very excited to see what comes out of Obsidian with AVOWED. I think it is going to be just another great RPG to look forward to. I hope there are distinct differences, like he is saying here, from Elder Scrolls, and there's something that you can jump between both games and get something different out of them. The fact that Phil Spencer is saying that here has my hopes up for that alone. Now, moving on here to what Xbox focuses on. There's always talk when it comes to the console wars and everything, when it comes to like review scores of first party games, console sales, and all those types of things. People love to look at that stuff rather than just go in and play video games. And it looks like Xbox has taken that approach that they don't care about that stuff. What they care about is you being engaged on their ecosystem. So Phil Spencer talked about Xbox Game Pass and how they measure their success, and basically just saying they look at player engagement and how much they play on their platform. So here is what he said: what we do is say, are we growing the number of players on our platform, and are they playing more often? And from that activity, we see the business grows. The number one metric that we can look at to see if our business is actually growing is, are people playing more on the platform? There's nothing about review scores. There's nothing about retail sales of consoles or retail sales of games. The number one sign that our platform is healthy and growing is actually engagement on the platform from players, and that is what Xbox Game Pass is growing. So our business continues to grow and continues to be profitable at Xbox, and we're very proud of that. Now, that makes a lot of sense for Xbox and their strategy. Obviously, selling consoles is still something they want to do and that they need to do, because it is another gateway into the Xbox ecosystem, where if people pick up a console, they are going to engage with Xbox Game Pass, which will help Xbox Game Pass grow. But what he says here is more important just for the overall business of Xbox. The more people are signing on to Xbox, signing into Xbox Game Pass, playing more games more often, the more chance that they are going to stay subscribed to the service for a long time, the more chance that they are going to recommend Xbox Game Pass to their users, and then overall, the more chance that Xbox is going to grow. And on top of that, if third parties and companies that want to partner with Xbox want to put their games onto Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox presents them with these great engagement numbers showing that people on Xbox Game Pass play games longer, play more games, and engage with a variety of content, there's a higher chance that they're going to want to be putting their games onto the service. But again, this is nothing really new. I've said previously, and many people have said previously, that the old adage of console sales and comparing the PlayStation versus the Xbox in terms of how many units are sold isn't a very relevant point when you're comparing how the companies are doing, because at the end of the day they both have completely different strategies. Whereas PlayStation's is specifically on selling their console and locking you into that console to play their games, and Xbox is play in our ecosystem no matter how you want to play. Now when it comes to everybody's favorite topic recently in the video game industry, that being acquisitions, Phil Spencer talked about that and saying that acquisitions to him are a good thing. So on the podcast he was talking about the highs and lows of the industry and the recent shift to expanding their brands, and here's what he said about acquisitions. It doesn't mean every team has to end up selling their studio, but I think it's a natural and healthy part of our industry that certain teams will start a studio. Many of them will fail. We know most small businesses fail, whether it's video games or anything else, but those that make it through, and that's such a kind of risk-filled journey for them to get to the point to create real value, I'm always going to congratulate when teams get to the point where they realize that value through acquisition or just massive independent success, that's the path they also start to on. And at the end of the day, when it comes to these acquisitions overall, I mean, they can be good or they can be bad. It's really hard to tell right off of the bat. You have to see how the games start turning out, how the studios succeed, or if they fail or if they get worse after the acquisition. I mean, I'm all for keeping independent studios independent if they are creating great stuff and they don't need those extra resources. But if a company can acquire you, give you a bunch of money, give you a bunch of resources and tools, and then you can still have your creative vision be created in a much bigger form where you could have never dreamt of doing this when you were independent, I think that is also a great thing. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff in the comments below. Let me know what you think about AVOWED. Let me know what you think about Xbox's focus on player engagement and Phil Spencer's overall thoughts about studio acquisitions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you see throughout this video, you find it entertaining, you find it informative, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.